It can be quite tough being on this platform lately, trying to keep being on this platform lately, wanting to keep going regardless. I feel like I should. But yeah, it gets tough. I'm just going to say there's people that I enjoy communing with on this platform more than I do the platform. Sometimes I wish they would just post a little bit more because there's getting less and less that I actually want to see. I learned about a term, had to be 10 years ago, could have been more, called open source magic. And it's like, open source magic is like this living commonality for imperfect practitioners. Because we're not perfect. No one can be. So this open source magic, it starts with this simple premise that spiritual knowledge should be shared, adaptable, and collectively refined rather than hoarded up by a select few. It treats witchcraft not as a rigid hierarchy, but as a living commons. That's lucky. Pardon him. He does not know his place. An ever-evolving body of lore that is shaped by the hands, minds, and spirits of those who practice it. In a world where modern occultism often drifts towards that guru culture, commodification, and personality cults, open source magic offers a radically different vision, one where transparency, collaboration, and humility form the backbone of the craft. This cat, see, is a cat causing me problems here. The problem of gurus and the illusion of spiritual perfection. Modern magical communities have a reoccurring habit that of elevating certain teachers into figures of near mythic authority. People seek out the perfect guides, individuals imagined to be enlightened, infallible, and somehow above the messy reality of human experience. Let me put on my humble face. Once placed on a pedestal, these teachers often become the gravitational center of a group, drawing power, devotion, and uncritical loyalty. This dynamic is dangerous. When a single person is treated as the ultimate authority, the craft then becomes vulnerable to manipulation, dogma, and abuse. And history shows that spiritual hierarchies can easily slide into cult dynamics, especially when a leader begins to crave worship or unquestioning obedience. Power has a way of warping even well-intentioned people. And absolute power warps absolutely. A healthy magical community should encourage practitioners to question, to challenge, and to poke at ideas, even those presented by our respected teachers. If a leader cannot tolerate being questioned, that is a sign to walk away. Magic thrives in environments where ideas are tested, not enforced. So, knowledge sharing without hierarchy. Open source magic rejects the notion that wisdom must flow from the top down. Instead, it embraces the idea that every practitioner, regardless of their experience level, has something valuable to contribute. A group can function without a singular authority figure by cultivating a culture where knowledge is shared freely, contributions are valued equally, and disagreements are handled with honesty and maybe sometimes a little humor, and where no one is allowed to dominate or diminish others. Like when you feel like just quitting, when you know that obviously that's what some people would just want. And you're like, no. This doesn't eliminate the natural tendency for humans to form informed pecking orders. People will always gravitate toward those with certain skills or charisma. But in an open source model, the group actively resists the formation of rigid hierarchies. There is no one above me, and there is no one below me. Ever. Members call out domineering behavior. They deflate egos with kindness or wit, and ensure that leadership, if it exists at all, is fluid and consensual rather than being imposed. This myth of the pure practitioner. One of the most liberating truths in witchcraft is that none of us are pure. We are not original, and we are not untouched by influence. Every practitioner is a mosaic of all their experiences, their inspirations, their books, their teachers, their mistakes, and their experiments. Even those who belong to strict traditions. They carry personal variations shaped by their land, their spirits, their temperament, or their lived reality. We are not a hive mind. We are not identical clones following a single script. We are individuals, messy, flawed, creative, contradictory. And recognizing this dissolves the illusion of a spiritual superiority. It becomes easier to let go of dogma, fundamentalism, and the need to prove one's path as the correct one. There is no correct one. There is no wrong one. When practitioners acknowledge their eclectic nature, they become more open to learning from others. Differences stop being threats and become opportunities to fill in gaps, expand perspectives, and enrich personal practice. So this ecology of a shared wisdom. Imagine a community of witches as an ecosystem rather than some kind of hierarchy. Each person brings their unique skills. One could know herbs. One could excel at trance. One could be working with bones and shadows. One maybe could read the land like a map. Another one could craft tools. Another one writes rituals. And then somebody maybe keeps oral lore alive. No single practitioner holds all knowledge, nor should they. When people share freely without trying to outshine or undermine each other, the group becomes a living encyclopedia, a collective grimoire, a network of experience and insight that grows stronger with each contribution. This is the heart of open source magic, the belief that knowledge expands when it's shared, not when it's guarded. And I'm not talking about closed traditions. The danger of forced leadership. In some groups, the opposite problem arises. Members try to appoint a leader simply because they don't want the responsibility of organizing or making decisions. I certainly don't. This can be just as harmful as guru culture. A reluctant leader is a stressed leader, and a stressed leader becomes a brittle one. Open source magic encourages practitioners to resist this dynamic. If someone is being pushed into leadership against their will, they should feel empowered to decline or step away. Responsibility should be distributed, not dumped onto the nearest capable person. Don't ever dump anything on me, please. I'm not taking it. So, communication as a magical tool. Most interpersonal conflict in magical groups stems from insecurity, a fear of inadequacy, a fear of being overshadowed, a fear of being wrong. When these insecurities remain unspoken, they fester into gossip, resentment, and power struggles. A group committed to open source magic fosters regular, honest communication. Members share their concerns, admit their vulnerabilities, and listen with empathy. This isn't going to eliminate conflict, but it transforms it into something manageable. When people stop competing for dominance, then they can focus on the work itself. A herd of cats, not a cult. So witches are famously independent. We all know this. And a group of practitioners will often resemble a herd of stubborn, opinionated cats, because each of them have their own preferences, their quirks and boundaries. Take my cat, for instance, and what I just went through here. You can't make this up. This independence is not a flaw. It is a strength. It ensures that no one person can easily seize control. So open source magic embraces this chaotic diversity. It does. It encourages practitioners to come together, not under this one single banner or doctrine, but under a shared commitment to learning, experimenting, and supporting one another. And we don't have that here, not on a whole. A living archive of human experience. When practitioners share their stories, their successes, their failures, their breakthroughs, and their missteps, they contribute to this collective body of lore that future witches can actually draw from. And this archive is not static, doesn't stand still. It evolves as people add new insights, revise old techniques, and adapt practices to their land and spirits. And none of those can be the same. Even if my next door neighbor was a witch like me, her land is not my land. Her spirits are not mine. Open source magic becomes a living archive of human experience, a communal grimoire, a tapestry woven from countless hands. Sharing without seeking worship. Some practitioners share their knowledge simply because they want to help each other grow. I will never charge for anything. Why? I don't have any kind of superior knowledge that needs a private video for people. No. No. They do not seek followers. No. No fame. No financial gain. No. They don't want to be gurus. Oh, no. They want to be people. Just ordinary, imperfect, curious people who just happen to walk a magical path. Me. This humility is the foundation of open source magic. It keeps the craft grounded, accessible, and honest. Open source magic is not a system or a tradition. It is a philosophy of sharing, questioning, adapting, and collaborating. It rejects that spiritual elitism and embraces the messy, beautiful reality of human imperfection. It invites practitioners to build communities where knowledge flows freely and hierarchies dissolve, and everyone contributes to the living body of lore. It is magic practiced by people, not icons, not gurus, not untouchable masters, just people. And you know what? That is more than enough. Until next video, I'll see you there.